Hi, I'm Ashley, and this is my assessing stress video. So I think that the stress assessments were helpful in identifying smaller aspects of my life of what I stress about, but when I think about my life now, I don't think the questions or topics really hit the things that I stress about the most. Even for like the college student stressful event checklist, I think my personal experience as a grad student is that this is like a second college experience, so the typical college things to stress about aren't as scary to me, or like I don't stress about it now. Um, Rather, I stress about like completing things on time and being successful in the program and my clinical and everything, and even figuring my life out after UWM. And I think the assessments were pretty consistent in that they all said I'm moderately stressed, which I kind of expect, but I think that's something I can handle. I think that depending on the population you're working with, these assessments or ones similar can help when you're trying to obviously help a patient, but you can alleviate some of that stress, or you can suggest or provide appropriate resources to better manage those stressors. So like working in my scope of practice, like I'd be able to refer or provide different resources, but I'd also be willing to listen to that patient so they can vocalize or talk through their stress without fear of judgment or consequences for being stressed. I think that some risks with using stress assessments are that they might not provide the options that are actually stressors. So I felt that way taking one of the, I think actually a couple of the assessments, that the things that I was stressed about weren't options on the assessments. And I think that could be frustrating for some people, that there's no like validation that the reasons they're stressed are like okay. Like I think it's important to have multiple options for people like that. I don't think it's appropriate to use stress assessments in times of like that significant or those traumatic experiences, because I think it's realistic to assume that like those are stressful, and there's no reason to put those people in more stressful situations to think about that. And I think they're hard, like the stress assessments are hard to interpret, and that they should be taken not at face value. Like you shouldn't look at them as a number, in terms of like, oh, they're a score of 300, so you're moderately stressed. But I think looking at the person as a whole and their life experience will tell you a lot about their stress and how they manage it. I think this exercise had a purpose, but I don't know that it was super helpful for me, other than thinking about how other people manage stress, or like what they stress over, or like what they're stressed about. But I think it's important to understand the interaction. Oh my god, this is my cat. Sorry. It scared me. But the idea that people stress in different ways and they cope in different ways, but also how those stressors interact with each other and create those different situations.